The day I hit $10,000 saved, nothing happened. No confetti. No phone call. Nobody cared. I checked my bank account, saw the number, closed my phone, and went to sleep. But over the next few weeks, something started changing. Something I didn't expect. Something nobody warned me about. And it had nothing to do with the money itself. If you've ever wondered why $10,000 feels like such a big deal to some people, or if you're trying to get there, and it feels impossible, stay with me. Because by the end of this video, you're going to see money completely differently. Let me ask you something honest. When was the last time you checked your bank account and felt okay? Not happy. Not rich. Just, okay. For most Americans, that feeling is rare. Really rare. Before I hit $10,000, every single unexpected expense felt like a gut punch. Car makes a weird noise? Panic. Doctor sends a bill? Panic. Phone screen cracks? Panic. And it's not just about the money. It's about what that constant panic does to your brain over time. There's something called financial anxiety. And researchers have found it affects the majority of Americans on a regular basis. Not occasionally, regularly. It messes with your sleep. It makes you irritable with people you love. It makes you perform worse at work. It makes you make worse decisions with money, which creates more financial anxiety, which creates more bad decisions. It's a cycle. And most people are stuck in it without even realizing it. Here's the part that gets me though. The solution isn't becoming a millionaire. The research shows that even a small financial cushion, something in the $5,000 to $10,000 range, dramatically reduces financial anxiety levels. Not because $10,000 is a lot, but because it's enough to survive a bad month. And your brain, on a very deep level, knows the difference between having nothing and having enough to survive. That shift in your brain is worth more than the actual money. Here's something that genuinely surprised me when I learned about it. People with savings negotiate better salaries. Not because they're smarter. Not because they're more qualified. Because they can walk away. Think about the last time you interviewed for a job, or asked for a raise, when your bank account was running close to empty. You needed that job. You needed that raise. And the person across from you could feel it. Maybe not consciously. But they could feel it. When you have nothing saved, you walk into that room with invisible chains on. You take what they offer. You say thank you, you go home. But when you have $10,000 sitting in your account, something physically changes in how you carry yourself. You sit differently. You speak differently. You don't sound desperate, because you're not desperate. And desperation is one of the most expensive things a person can carry into a negotiation. $10,000 doesn't just sit in your bank account. It sits in your posture. It sits in your voice. It changes how you show up in rooms that determine your financial future. That's not just theory. Behavioral economists have studied this for decades. Now I have to warn you about something. Because this is where most people completely destroy themselves. They save $10,000. They feel it. That feeling of stability, that calm, that confidence we just talked about. And then they spend it. New TV. A vacation. A few months of eating out more, buying more, living more. Because they finally feel like they can. And here's the part most people miss. Once that money is gone, you don't just go back to zero. You go back to square one mentally. The belief that you can do it? Gone with the money, and then they look up 6 months later, and they're back at $1,200. And starting over from $1,200 is 10 times harder than going from $10,000 to $20,000. Here's the math that most people never see. To save your first $10,000, you had to fight everything. Old habits. No momentum. No proof it was even possible for someone like you. It felt like pushing a boulder uphill in the dark. To save the next $10,000, the habits are already built. The systems are already in place. You have living proof that you can do it because you already did it. The second $10,000 almost always comes faster than the first. Sometimes twice as fast. But only if you protect the first one. The moment you crack open that $10,000 for non-emergencies, you don't just lose the money. You lose the psychological foundation that the money built. And that foundation is actually worth more than the $10,000 itself. Okay. So you've got it. You've protected it. What does it actually open up for you? 3 real things. Not theory. Real. The first one is a complete emergency fund. The average unexpected expense in America right now, medical bills, car repairs, home emergencies, falls somewhere between $1,000 and $5,000. Most of the time. With $10,000, you can absorb almost any single emergency without touching a credit card. Without going into debt. Without calling anyone to borrow money. That might not sound exciting. But the average American carries over $6,500 in credit card debt. A significant portion of that debt started as one single emergency that they had no cash to cover. $10,000 breaks that cycle before it starts. The second thing it unlocks is money making money. Below $10,000, investing feels abstract. The numbers are too small to feel real. But once you have $10,000 and your emergency fund is solid, you can start putting money to work. $10,000 invested at a 7% average annual return becomes roughly $76,000 in 30 years, inflation adjusted. At a 10% return, that number climbs closer to $174,000. You didn't earn that. You earned $10,000. Time and compound interest did the rest. But it only works if you start. And you can only start once the foundation is there. The third thing $10,000 unlocks is options. Hate your job? With $10,000, you have 3 to 4 months of runway to find something better instead of staying out of fear. Have a business idea? You have seed money. Want a better apartment in a better neighborhood? You have the deposit. $10,000 doesn't make you rich. But it makes you free enough to make better decisions. And better decisions, made consistently over years, are exactly how people build real wealth. Now I want to be real with you. Because this channel is called Dollar Focus, and that name means something. Saving $10,000 on a typical American salary right now is genuinely hard. I'm not going to stand here and tell you it's easy. It's not. The median household income in the U.S. is around $59,000 to $60,000 a year. After federal and state taxes, most people take home somewhere around $43,000 to $46,000. That's roughly $3,600 to $3,800 a month. After rent, groceries, a car payment, utilities, insurance, and the basic costs of existing in America in 2026, a lot of people have $200 to $400 left at the end of the month. Some people have less. So how do people actually save $10,000 in that environment? Not by skipping coffee. If you've ever been told that cutting your daily latte is the key to building wealth, you've been lied to. A latte is $6. Your rent is $1,400. Work on the big things first. Here's what actually works. The first move is identifying the one expense that is genuinely bleeding you out every month. For most Americans, it's housing costs or a car payment. Not subscriptions. Not eating out. The one big number that consumes 35 to 50% of your income. Even a small reduction in your biggest expense saves more than eliminating 10 small ones. The second move is automation. Pick a number, any number, even $50, and set it to automatically transfer to a separate savings account every single payday. Not what's left over. First. Before anything else. The reason automation works is because it removes the decision. And when you remove the decision, you remove the failure point. You stop relying on willpower, which runs out. And you start relying on a system, which doesn't. The third move is one additional income stream. Not necessarily a second job. Maybe a skill you already have that someone will pay for. Maybe something you can sell. Maybe a service you can offer on weekends. Even an extra $200 a month adds up to $2,400 a year. Combined with consistent savings, $10,000 becomes achievable in 2 to 3 years for most people. faster if your income grows. And here's the thing about income growth. Once you have savings, once you have that psychological stability we talked about, you naturally start performing better, negotiating better, taking smarter risks. Your income tends to go up when your anxiety goes down. It compounds. Everything compounds. $10,000 won't make you feel rich. It'll make you feel something better than rich. It'll make you feel stable. And in a country where, according to multiple recent surveys, the majority of adults cannot cover a $1,000 emergency from savings, stable is not ordinary. Stable is rare. Stable is powerful. If you're at zero right now, this is not a video telling you to feel bad about that. Most people are at zero. The system is genuinely hard. The costs are genuinely high. But this is a video telling you that the gap between where you are and $10,000 is smaller than it feels. And the person sitting at $10,000 right now wasn't smarter than you. They weren't luckier than you. They just started before you. So start today. Even small. Even $25. Start today. And if you want to understand exactly why most people never even reach $1,000 saved, and what's actually keeping them stuck, that video is right here. Watch that next. It will change how you see your own situation completely.